Well, it's the coldest morning so far, that's for sure. It's bloody freezing. Still in shorts though, somehow, probably the last week. But yeah, anyway. Last night I had this funny thought. Because, I'm at another point of a cycle again with my thoughts. And let me just get this camera sorted. And it's that I'm a know-it-all. I believe I know it. I believe I know how you live in life. I believe I know what I'm doing. I believe I've got it sorted. I'm on the right path and everything like that. I'm a know-it-all. But what I also am is a forget-it-all. I can't remember half the stuff that I do know. Half the great points that I make. Half the great thoughts that I have that, help me. I can't remember half of them. So when it comes to a situation that I've already sort of learned from, I'm sort of making the same mistakes. I'm sort of saying the same stuff. This camera's annoying me. I think I've got it sorted. I'm making the same mistakes. I'm doing everything wrong that I was doing before I figured it out. For that, whatever the particular thing is. Like right now, I'm still focused on what hashtags do I use when I post? What little sort of titles that I put in there? What words can I be using? To attract people to click on a video, or for people to watch a reel or a TikTok or something like that. I'm trying to optimize everything, because there's this balance. Like recently on TikTok, I've been having 0 views, which I've then found out isn't right. The algorithm pushes it out to people, and then once it reaches its cap of how many people are actually interested, that's when it stops. But you should at least have a couple of views, even if it's awful. And I was just getting 0 views, and I thought, whoa, that's not effective. You know what I mean? You're doing all this, you're posting all that, and to make it effective, you've got to post wisely, I guess. Try and optimize it, trying to make it efficient. And with that process, that's when I start going, well, what hashtags do I use? What title do we do here? How do we do this? You got to comment on other people's posts. Started doing that. I never comment on anyone's posts. And then I'm starting to slowly do more and more and more that just isn't me. That it just isn't something I want to do. And I've talked about this before, all I want to do is me. I just want to do what I want to do, what's natural to me. And that's not natural. But it's also the first start, where it starts is sort of necessary to say, well, we need to figure out why it's at 0. Let's at least get, 10 people hearing what you're saying. And then getting carried away with it. Now, I've already learned that lesson. I already know that you just do what you want to do. Be you. So last night I was like, well, forget all the hashtags, forget all this trying. It's taking up more time to try. Try and do and be someone I'm not. Who comments on other people's posts and, looks at things like that. I'm like, that's not me. And I've already learned that lesson, so I'm a know-it-all. I know the answer, I just forget. And when I remembered, I was like, oh, what are you doing? You've already done this. And sometimes that can be frustrating when you keep cycling the same thoughts and keep cycling the same mistakes. But, it's all part of it. It's all part of almost reinforcing that mindset. And also, if the knowledge, this is how I look at it, if the knowledge is actually valuable and it actually works, once you forget it and you use it again, it'll work again mentally. You know, the knowledge that you don't need to try doing all that. You don't need to try and copy what other people are doing and Google how-tos, because you know how you want to be. You know how you want to do everything. So just do it. And then, you know, hopefully everything else comes in, you know, everything else works around you. Which it is hard to think about that, because you do sort of have to have an ego. And you do sort of have to say the world will, almost like the world will one day know. And if you just stick to your guns, then everything's going to be completely fine. Everything's going to be great because you're happy with what you're doing. And, you know, at the end of it, if it comes to, imagine 80 years of this, 80 years of filming, and I still get nowhere with it. How funny is that? That's hilarious to me, because there's two options that happen after that. It's like you're on your deathbed and you look back and you go, huh, you just filmed, I don't even know how many thousands of videos it would be. Maybe, let's say 10,000, 50,000, whatever, I don't know. You just filmed that many videos and still no one watched, still no one listened. And then the two questions you ask is, was you happy? Did it make you happy doing it? And if the answer's, well, the one question you ask is that, and then there's two answers off that, of, yeah, it made me happy. Fantastic, proud of you. You know, how can you know, despite no one watching, you still did something you loved and made you happy. Well done you. And then if the answer is no, it didn't make you happy, that's even more funny, because it's like, what the hell were you doing? You did it for so long. It's kind of a joke that you did it for so long and you weren't even happy. So either way, when it comes to the end of your life and you look back on something like that, it's like, well, the only answer is just don't quit. Just keep going. And if you know, and it's an absolute crazy bonus if you're happy doing it and happy being what you want and doing what you want, because there is no set, there isn't any set rules to win, I don't believe. It's like, what do you want? And you go for that. You know, trends don't start by copying other people. Trends start by someone doing what they want to do. You know, look at clothes. Some geezer goes and wears what he wants to wear, and everyone goes, hey, that's good, that's decent. Someone else picks it up and picks it up and picks it up, and it's a trend. You know, but if everyone's just doing the same stuff, then you're not gonna change anything. You're not gonna be who you want to be. You're gonna be who they are over there. And we all want to be who we want to be, and that's sort of self-love, that you're okay being who you are. You know, I can't spell for toffee, so when I'm writing my captions out, I've got to double check if I even spelt things right, and I miss stuff out. And I thought, you know, you might miss an apostrophe out, and I thought, it's kind of you. Like, I kind of like it. You know, I post these summary pictures from the videos, and sometimes the text isn't centered from vertically, and I kind of like it, because it's kind of me. It's kind of like, well, I can't be arsed doing that. So what's the what's the point in doing it? You know, something even as small as that. I'm like, well, just do what you want to do. Are you happy with the way it is? Yeah, well, carry on doing it then. You know, there's not. Some people need this perfection. It has to be like this, and that's great for you. You might make it exactly how you want to make it. You know, but if you're just copying everyone else, there's no change, there's no difference between society. There's no differences in society, should I say. You know, you look at buildings and you go, right, well, we're going to build this building, but this is the cheapest blueprint, so every single building looks exactly the same. And once you start doing that, your city starts to look a bit crap. You know, you've got no texture to your buildings, you've got no spice, some flair, some culture to it. You know, the amount of architecture you go and see around Europe throughout history, it's like, yeah, you know, someone added a bit of spice to it. Someone added a bit of them to the building. Whereas us now, we're just building everything because it's cheap. No one wants to spend any money. No one wants to put a bit of personality to the building. And to them, I guess. You know, we now consume so much, I think, that you forget you can create, and you forget you can change things. You can also adopt things and you know, copy other people and adopt them if it's truly what you want to do, and you go, that works for me, yeah, I'll have a bit of that. But also sort of stay a bit true to yourself as well. Don't forget about that. And that's what sort of happens, I think, when I forget these things, this knowledge that I get. I'm okay with it. I'm kind of okay with forgetting. Thinking I'm a bit of a know-it-all and forgetting it. That's also funny, because it's like, well, if it's true to myself and it truly works, it's going to come back and it's going to naturally fall in place, and different mindsets are going to help me naturally, because they were. That's why they came. That's why the thoughts came. But yeah, anyway, it was some funny thoughts last night thinking about all that anyway. But yeah, at work now, so peace.